So, another day, another problem. So, we get everything buttoned up last night. Everything looks good. We're letting the gasket makers seal before we did anything. This morning, checked and made sure there was no leaks. Fired it up, fired right up, no problem. And then we heard a clink clink, and then the engine stopped. Dead center. Just wouldn't turn over, wouldn't do any problems. We're freaking out. So we rotated the harmonic balancer to find out if there was any problems. If it seized. No, it rotates and then it stops. So something was stopping it from completing its rotation and wouldn't let it go any further. So we're like, okay, at least it's not seized. Let's try to figure this out. I'm thinking, because my ARB compressor is missing its filter cap, that somehow it got stuck when we were making sure everything was all cleaned up, making sure everything was all buttoned up. We might have forgotten the black piece of plastic inside the tar covered freaking intake manifold, because it was black. Everything was black. It was getting late at night, so we're thinking maybe it got stuck in there. So we pulled the intake manifold back off. No plastic anywhere. No RTB or ARB cover for the air compressor at all. So then we started playing around with the harmonic balancer, making sure, just double checking, make sure there's nothing in the gears that rotate the camshaft and the distributor. So we're looking, nothing. Everything seems to be fine. So we're assuming something got into one of the cylinders. So we started digging around in there, trying to use RTB as a sticky to get whatever's in there, thinking maybe it's a piece of plastic. For some reason, stopping the motor. No, it was much worse. So we rotate this around. So good news, not that. Other than what we destroyed, the head gaskets were fine. This is us trying to pull it out, but yeah, old, but good. Then we get into this mess. Let me get up here. It's a complete mess right now, because we're doing it in the forest, well, in an RV park. So we have this head ready to be prepped to be pulled out. We're not going to pull it out yet, because that side is where all the action happened. So we have everything loosely organized. Organized enough for a bunch of farm boys to put it back together without any problems. But let me rotate you quickly. You see that? Yeah. That's where all the fun happened. You know, the RTB is just trying to figure out if we can grab on whatever was sticky. So, yeah, we got more dirt in there after we cleaned it all up. Well, we're gonna deep clean the shit out of this, making sure it's nice and cleaned and everything else. But let me show you what got stuck. So, our wonderful Jeep. So, here is the head. And here's the head with all that fun thing happened. No damage, just on there. And where did it go? Oh, well, I broke a freaking nut. Somehow, a nut ran into there. I swear I had it. Let me see if I put it over here. Well, I took a picture of it. Yeah, here it is. So, this was, at one point in time, a nut with a washer attached to it. The only thing we're thinking of, because we accounted for all of our nuts and bolts when we put everything back together, but this was a long lost nut from ages ago in that crevice where all those leaves and all that garbage was in. So it fell in there when we pulled the intake manifold out first time. And yeah, needless to say, Kathryn, the Jeep, busted her first nut on her own. So everything else looks fine other than that scarring on the piston. But yeah, it did some damage to this thing. Like, yeah. Now it rotates fine. We're going to now replace the gaskets. We're going to pull the other head, replace its gasket. And yeah, another day in Washington. We should have been on the road to go to Kansas today. Look at that nest of mess. It's all going to get cleaned up. Hell, I might even just paint it. Keep the orange and black theme going. Clean up all this shit and make sure it looks clean. Either tonight or tomorrow early, we're going to have this all back together and be back on the road. So yeah. Oh, like I said, it's a never-ending project. Unfortunately, I'm not Project Dan, where I can say welcome to the project, because the goal is not to have a project anymore. It's just to enjoy the Jeep. But I mean, everything else is running fine. I mean, there are some things that I need to button up. I think the roll cage is my next project, externally outside the motor. I have it in there, but I'm not happy with how it's hooked up, so I might just weld it all in and call it good. The passenger side roll cage or rock sliders could be better. But yeah, I mean, and then I got to touch up on some door jamb paint. But yeah, rotate this back around. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna get all cleaned up. All that RTB will be out of there. It'll look like a brand new head when I'm all done with it. But yeah, that's where the party hit, and I think that's where that nut was pounding up against. You can see some of the scarring. But other than that, I mean, for almost 300,000 miles, it looks good. Just needs to be cleaned up. An engine rebuild will be eventually in the works of things, but as it stands, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So yeah, we'll close this out. Just giving you another update on the Jeep project. Hopefully Kathryn will be on the trails longer than a day or two and not stuck in someone's driveway or an RV park. So one day we'll have it all done, and one day we'll be out on the trail doing better things, better recordings, and hey, look, let's fix a project. So eventually she'll be 100%. Knock on door. All right, you guys have a good day.